All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Razor from RazorTube coming at you with some new Rust Console Edition update action. If you guys are new to the channel, drop that sub and like, hit that notification bell for the most up-to-date and recent Rust Console news. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be the Arctic base update that's coming out soon, which is November 27th, with the new vehicles and possibly some new huge map changes that are going to be in December, with a slew of new updates coming with this new Arctic update on November 27th. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it. So we're going to be seeing the Arctic base update on November 27th. This is going to introduce a lot of new things. A new hazmat suit, which is going to be the Arctic one, which is kind of like I would say pay to win, because it literally has and reduces being affected by the cold in that type of biome. Other things that are going to be coming down the pipeline are going to be the Ice King DLC, which it's a full metal suit, right? You get the metal face mask and chest piece that is covered in ice, and one of our only animated skins for the AK, which is going to be nice. There's going to be polar bears introduced. There's going to be snowmobiles introduced. And let me just give you a little taste of what it looks like. So on the screen, you're going to see the post by Rust Console Edition. Obviously, you know, they market their stuff. They show videos and little snippets of the updates we're going to get soon, which is pretty nice. Obviously, I can't play any of the sound on this just for copyright purposes, but you can see the new DLCs right there and what's going on. And one of the new vehicles, which is going to be the snowmobile, that's going to be at the Arctic base. So you go inside, there's scientists there, just like the desert base with MLRS. Instead, with this one, you're going to see scientists and snowmobiles, which is nice. So any of you that like to live in the cold biome, you're going to start to see people definitely converging onto this area to get this new vehicle. They're going to be wearing this new hazmat suit, which they haven't given a release date about that yet, but we'll see in the near future. I think it's one of the biggest DLCs that they've made yet, since Console Rust has definitely evolved since its first shining about 4 years ago. So, needless to say, these are things that you're going to want to pay attention to that are coming, and definitely huge deal. Another thing about, I think it was yesterday, they showed another video with a snippet of the metal detector update that will be coming soon. I don't know if it's going to drop with the DLC on the 27th, but that would be super cool. What it is you get a metal detector and you can literally uncover hidden loot in the ground with this. So if you're playing as some little grub by the outpost, you could sit there and kind of scan the ground, and basically what you do is you take the metal detector, scan the ground, a little flag comes up, and you dig it up with a tool. So a lot of huge updates coming by the end of this month, possibly the metal detector by the early December. And then let me talk about the huge map changes that we're going to need for the PlayStation and Xbox before I get into these skins. Now, I do know that recently they brought military tunnels back. They've added the desert military base. Now they're going to add the Arctic base. What I will say about this is that we're getting a lot of monuments. We're running out of space to build. I can only tell you that it's going to last so long with 3K, 3.5K maps that we currently have now. And we're going to start to see this game develop bigger maps that are probably 5K plus now that it's on the next gen version of it. And they've retired the old gen version that's not getting updates, because we need bigger maps in order to facilitate all of these monuments with all these people, with server pops being at 100. I mean, you can only build so much and have so much space to be apart from everybody with adding all these new types of monuments, right? So this wasn't disclosed by Double 11 at all, but I will say this is that up front, it probably into 2026, we will start to see them develop bigger maps. It's not confirmed, but with all the new additions monument wise, and with us running out of space and building up on top of each other through each wipe, don't be surprised if you see maps growing literally by the January or February, okay? Also, before I forget, with this new Arctic base update on the 27th, you're going to see polar bears. They suck, by the way, and they're very, very, very aggressive. So if you live in the winter biome, you're going to start to see that. So now that I've talked about the Arctic base update, let's talk about the skins. A lot of people have wanted, new garage doors, deployables, and I'll be honest, some of the new skin bundles recently I haven't really liked, at least from a gun or metal armor or clothing type of skin packs. But these are pretty notable, and I'm just going to tell you why and which ones you should get moving forward. Anyways, so recently, I think it was last week, they came out with the fast food architecture pack. I'll point out the ones that you should most likely get, but obviously it's your choice in the end. So the fast food architecture, you got the furnace, which is pretty sick. This one, let me tell you, is just funny. I always like deployables. It has no special lighting effects, just other than it's on, but pretty cool. I like it. Arguably one of the best skins in the game right now, which is a garage door skin. I will tell you why, because this one here is see-through. This is the closest you can get to pay to win. The reason for that is because the center, when somebody's raiding your base, you'll be able to look through your garage door to know what's on the other side if they've blown a hole, and it's pretty slick. This is literally almost pay to win, right? Anything transparent or see-through in this game, it's literally paid to win in my eyes. But with that being said, it does have a light on it. Pretty neat. I like the concept. I don't know. Every time they make a see-through skin, I always like to have it, especially like when I'm either solo or duo, only because, you kind of need those advantages when you're facing big zergs and whatnot. Okay, so we have a new sleeping bag. Pretty legit, kind of, meets the theme, right? You got a grill, large box, again, for the theme. New chair. How can you get 100% comfort without having a cheeseburger, right? And a new table, which arguably is probably the most useless one, but it meets the theme, right? Now, there is the Psychedelic Shots Arsenal skin pack. Most of these I don't like. I did like the custom SMG, which is pretty nice. I do like the AK skin, but that's only because I like collecting the AK skins. So arguably this one is probably the most crappy one. As far as the Blossoms and Veterans one, I do have this one. And I mean, I think when they make skin sets like this, it makes your clan stand out, right? It's not necessarily the best one in the game, but it does give you, kind of a way to customize your clans or duo. Can help you point out teammates in a tactful way, because if somebody doesn't buy this or doesn't have it, obviously you can just identify your teammates by putting on certain clothes, right? With that being said, and out of these three skin packs, the winner for me is going to be the fast food architecture. I know it's 950 RC, but it's definitely worth it for the garage door. If you want to just get the garage door by itself, it's 250 RC, and literally that is so you can see through it into your base. And it's, like I said again, paid to win all day. Now, other notable ones are the large backpack, which is pretty sick. I always like getting the accessory skins only because, there's far and few between. So, you have the radioactive one, which is nice, and, helps you customize your character a little bit more. The custom toxic, metal face mask, cool. Another way for you to kind of make your clan stand out a little bit more, but not the best one I've seen. So, with that being said, we're going to be having a lot of updates coming. Look forward to November 27th. And please, please, please enjoy the game as it grows into, literally the parody of Rust on PC. I mean, this is huge, huge, huge. This update is going to literally be kind of a monumental one because we're starting to see this game develop into something that is, per its concept back in the day, now coming to fruition. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys for supporting the channel for so long, and I'll see you when this update drops on November 27th. I'll be dropping a video then, and then we'll shortly be streaming after. Have a good one.